What's up everyone, this is Visage. So I guess you already know what's going on regarding what's going on with the community itself when we actually saw the new balance changes that actually occurred to almost all the third classes regarding with all their damage actually being reduced quite severely compared to what we actually had back in the day when they were introduced. You do guys actually have the right to be frustrated with all these changes actually implemented. Some characters actually got some bugs a little bit minorly, but some majority of us actually here just reading all the patch notes. We're actually a little bit angry for the fact that Kakegurui actually did this to us after introducing all the third job classes. I know you guys actually a bit shocked at the fact he actually did this to us. However, looking back a couple of years ago, this practice of actually introducing the very new stuff with very OP stuff or the classes just in terms of showing them off in the first place, but after a while, once the event is over and people get used to the classes, then that's actually when Kakegurui actually strikes with a bunch of nerfs to the classes and actually frustrate the players themselves who actually played that class. It's not actually only the classes themselves. At the same time, we have actually noticed with all the OP titles we've been getting, such as Clips, Oath of Ruin, and also Reaper, those titles actually are involved in the same category of them promoting the new title. This will be the most OP thing you're going to have in the game, and actually promotes people to have to grinding endless hours just to get it. And roughly a couple of months or even years later, that actually is when they actually started to get the titles, such as Reaper having his hit stun actually removed. And for Eclipse, however, you can actually see the progression of nerfs actually implemented to the title. So initially, the actual effect itself is actually applied to both PvP and PvE, and down the road, they actually separate the two different descriptions just to accommodate the scenario you actually have in PvE, and then for PvP actually has its own effects. And actually, if you notice what happened today with this title, it officially got butchered in the PvP section, as actually you can only resurrect once, which in turn actually churned down its OPness and at the same time frustrate a lot of players who actually grind for that title because there's actually the most OP title at this time. And they actually have to frustrate that they actually wasted that many hours just to grind for that title. And for those players who actually stick around for Elsword over 2 or 3 years now, you can actually notice the fact they actually toned down certain skills that are actually were OP of his time of either one-shotting or actually doing enough damage to actually frustrate the players that are like, oh my god, this skill is so frustrating, the fact we actually have to deal with it. So just to give a little example of what I actually seen before, when Trilich/Dreadlord was actually introduced to the Elsword servers, a lot of players can already comment that one of their combination skills actually be the most OP out of them all the loose shield classes. And if you actually remember, back in the day, I actually posted a video of Oblivion actually one-shotting all 3 characters in one skill. So I'm actually gonna give you a little rundown of this video I actually posted a long time ago and let you guys see it for yourself to see how good this skill actually is back in its time. Just a little nostalgia road this as you see that video I actually posted a long time ago. You can already see that that skill itself can already butcher almost nearly all of his health itself. And not only Oblivion itself, but there are other skills out there if you guys remember those skills such as Ruinous Impact, Comet Crasher, Ignition Crow, Harpoon Spear, and even Dread Chase itself back in the day when Shell Gunner was first introduced. And there's much more out there, but it's going to take a while for me to list them all, but you guys know what I mean in terms of the skill damage being way too OP of his time. And then later after that, all of them gets a very butchered nerf on them just to tone down their damage to the point that they're not going to be used anymore as much as they did back in the day. Just to summarize this video, this method of Kakegurui of introducing the very OP things that you have to offer at first, but later down the road they're gonna have to butcher to the point like we're gonna cut off and frustrate our player base to the point that we actually wasted their time just to play the new classes just to strip them away of their fun, and promoting players to purchase their job tickets just to advance the classes as the job quests themselves is actually pretty insane with their requirements. And at the same time you have to actually do the difficult dungeons in order to advance to your next step in order to reach that class, and then after that in order to get the hyperactive, which is even more insane than the previous one. You know what I mean at this point of them doing this to us. Hopefully you enjoyed this video of me explaining what's going on in terms of the community being frustrated, the fact that you actually did this to all the third job classes and actually butchering all of them to the ground to the point is this game is actually not going to be enjoyable as much as before. So if you actually want to express your frustration, you can always drop down the link below and then explain that the character actually played got butchered so hard because of this patch. And if you actually want to be frustrated with the fact that Kakegurui actually did this practice such a long time with their stuff, you can also throw that down too, and then actually bring some people into the community and discuss around the same discussion as you do. Hopefully you actually enjoyed this video, and I guess I'll see you next time in the next video. I'll see you later for now.